Hey everyone, welcome back to the Spiritual Laws Diaries. Today, we're going to be talking about the law of compensation. The law of compensation says you are compensated with the exact and direct proportion of what you give. What you contribute to the world, to others, to life, will come back to you in some form. This law was beautifully articulated by this man called Ralph Waldo Emerson, who made an essay entitled Compensation back in 1841. Even though it is almost 200 years old, it is still relevant to this day, which is why spiritual laws are timeless, because time in the spiritual world is not a real thing, it is only a concept. So firstly, what is the law of compensation? Simply, you get what you put out. If you give value, you receive value. If you give love, you receive love. If you give kindness, generosity, effort, love, care, it will all come back to you. However, it will not always be from the same person. It won't be in the same form, in the same shape, in the same way. But nonetheless, the energy you put out in the world will always come back towards you in some way. To quote Ralph Waldo Emerson, and he said this perfectly, he said, quote, "The absolute balance of give and take, the doctrine that everything has its price, and if that price is not paid, not that thing, but something else is obtained. This is the law of compensation." Basically, nothing is free. Everything has a cost, and you can see this because every time you give something, it comes back. Every time you remove something, something will remove from you. But if you want to have something, you have to give something of equal value. And if you give something of value, it will be compensated back to you. I want to get clear because I did do a video of the law of karma, and there could be a lot of misconception. So how is this law? How is it different from karma? So the law of compensation is very similar to karma, yes, but it is more specific. It is more detailed and sometimes more short-lived or something of lower impact. Karma is about actions and their consequences over lifetimes. Compensation is about value exchange in this life. Karma says what you do comes back to you eventually. But what the law of compensation says, what you contribute determines what you receive. Think of it like this. If you want more money, you have to give more value by providing value in terms of your work, your skills, your service. If you want deeper relationships, you have to provide more honesty, more care, more love, more presence. And if you want respect, you always have to show up with integrity, authenticity, and authority. The universe compensates you based on what you're contributing. The biggest difference is you can contribute anything and you'll get it, no matter the morals behind it. Because karma, even if it's not necessarily just about morals, it is about how the consequences teach you something, you're taught something. It can be about any frequency. And karma is more of a lifetime picture. It is very deep, and here it can be small, but it can also be big. Moving on, we have to remember that compensation isn't immediate. It's not always immediate. You might give a lot and see no return back to you right away. You put in effort, energy, love, and it doesn't feel like anything is being given back to you. But the law of compensation is working over time, and it's a lot about a process. It's not about you do this once and expect the exact same thing to come back. It's more about endurance, about truly committing to it as well. Let's say you want respect, so you want to be authentic. If you do one thing, one truth to someone, and then you lie for the other amount of times, have you truly been authentic? Was that one time truly authentic? Because it is about planting seeds. It is about the long way, the long-term mindset. What you're planting now will harvest later. And if you actually plant the seeds, then that will actually be what you will sow later. What you reap is what you sow. The energy you're putting out is accumulating. And that's the key word here, because as I said, you can't do something once and expect to get something back. You're here for the goal. You're not here for the little short-term reward. In agriculture, you can't plant a seed once and pour water once on it and expect it to grow and bloom so much. It may have helped it grow like a little bit, but then it needs more. It's the same concept in love. If you have a partner and you give them love, you say you love them, but then it's not constant, it's not consistent, you're not actually building love, you're not actually spending time, your life with them, then how is that love supposed to come back to you all the time? So the more you're planting, the more the energy is accumulating, even if you can't see it yet. You have to trust that that plant in the soil is building its roots. You're building the roots of what you're building. You're putting the foundation of your goals of what you want to receive. If you want to build a very big money-making business, you have to build the foundation, the plan. Emerson also said, every act rewards itself. That means the compensation is already built in when you give generously. You're building this compensation, this sense of abundance. When you create value, your reward is purpose. Every positive concept, feeling, emotion is a reward in itself. And if you want more of it, you have to live more in it. You can't live in it once and expect more of it. Sometimes it's internal, about growth, clarity, and fulfillment. But it will always come back even if you build a lot of it. Then you will gain a lot of it back in a matter of time. And importantly, you cannot cheat this law. It's impossible to cheat through it because integrity is always something that you cannot fake. The universe will know. The energy will always be the truth. Maybe you could fake it externally, but internally, it will always be fake integrity, which is why when you have the gift of discernment, a lot of people can realize and feel that sense of false integrity and false authenticity in others. If you try to take without giving, you'll pay the price. If you cut corners, you manipulate or exploit, that compensation will reflect that too. You'll get back the energy of dishonesty, of lack, and instability. Emerson, he called this the doctrine of balance. You can get something for nothing. And if you didn't build something with integrity, it will crumble. A lot of times, those scamming situations, the truth will come out and their operation will crumble because they didn't pay the real price. They tried to bypass the exchange. The love compensation is exact. What you give is what you get. What you get is what you give. And it doesn't have to just be material. It can be material. It can be energetic. It can be a feeling. Anything at all you can get if you give what it takes for it. So how do you work with this law? Firstly, you want to give without expecting immediate return. Trust that the compensation is coming. You also have to plant those seeds. And one of my manifestation affirmations is, I plant positive seeds. Every time I interact with someone, I always am believing I'm planting a positive seed in their life. Whatever I helped them with, whatever advice I gave, they're gonna get something positive in their life. Water those seeds, but don't expect immediate results. This is all working on the universe, its timeline, not yours. Number 2, that's really important, you need to focus on the value you're creating, not just what you're getting, not just the result. If you're only giving to receive, that energy is all transactional, it will feel off. But when you actually genuinely give something, give value because you're doing it with integrity and you enjoy doing it, you'll get that compensation very naturally. Number 3, and it's simple, it's basic, you cannot try to cheat or cut corners to bypass this law. You cannot cheat the system. Trust me, it knows. They know immediately. They know. The shortcut always costs more in the long run. Number 4, always understand that the compensation is not always what you expect. It's not always what you think you'll get. That means you might give in one area, build something in one area, and get something in another area. So if you're giving to one person, you might receive from someone else. The universe compensates you, but not always in the way you imagine. And I think that's beautiful. What's amazing about this law is it's not just about cause and effect, but it's also about learning about integrity and learning that it's not always that straightforward, and anything is possible. Any opportunity is possible. If you give somewhere, you might have another opportunity come to your hand because of that one thing you've been building, and you didn't even expect it. But either way, it will feel good because it's the same energy you have given out. Ralph Waldo Emerson understood this 200 years ago, and it's still true today. And I love that spirituality is such a timeless thing because it has never disappointed. It has always been true. It has always been exact. And it will always be fair. So remember to give generously, contribute. It's always by taking aligned action, planting seeds, that you'll actually get to where you need to be. So if this law really opened your eyes to where you can start building, planting those seeds, and where maybe you've been lacking, please leave a like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you on the next one.